What's up, Bataan family? Welcome back to the Gator Roll. I'm MC2 Brown, and look who's finally decided to join us.
That's right, MC2 Ricard, back and better than ever. I just want to say congratulations to all who advanced this last cycle.
Yeah, congrats to all who advanced, but most of all, MC3 Gleason and MC2 Jones. Welcome into the fold, and look forward to seeing you in the Second Class Petty Officer Association meetings every Wednesday at 1815 in the ship's training classroom.
Putting the past year into perspective, the USS Bataan has come a long way, from maintenance phase to basic phase, and most recently successfully completing the integrated phase.
That's right. Just to clarify for the families back home, Ricard is referring to the OFRP, the Optimized Fleet Response Plan.
To briefly hit the wave tops, the OFRP is a ship's life cycle. It starts from the beginning of the maintenance phase to the beginning of the next maintenance phase. Everything in between is included. Let's take it back to a picture Brown took back in October 27th, 2020. The USS Bataan pulled into NASSCO shipyard on the 27th, briefly after her COVID tour deployment for the beginning of her maintenance phase.
During the maintenance phase, the Bataan received major shipyard and depot level repairs.
On October 26, 2021, a day early, the Bataan returned to Naval Station Norfolk to begin the basic phase.
The basic phase focused on the development of unit core capabilities through the completion of basic level certifications and training requirements, as well as achieving required levels of manning and equipment.
One of those big certification events was Board of Inspection and Survey Evaluation, also known as INSERV. Let's take a look.
INSERV is a CNO directed material inspection, so it's a board of INSERV and inspectors that come out here and do an inspection on your ship. INSERV will come out with the inspectors and we'll go through every function that our ship can do, from personnel to what the CSs and RSs are doing, to what engineer and all his engineers are doing down in the plant.
The material inspections let us know that the ships that are currently at sea are ready for their warfighting commitments. The crews do all the work to maintain the ship. Then we come on board and really just check the boxes for what you've done. So again, it's really thank you to the crew for being ready in such a short amount of time to have such a big team come on board and look at everything you have.
There's no way we would have been able to do INSERV individually or even in subgroups. We all had to come together and pretty much fight the good fight to make sure that we got through it and passed.
To say that you went through an INSERV is a big accomplishment, and to be a part of one is a huge accomplishment.
Being able to be done with INSERV, knowing that we passed, it's not comparable to anything.
INSERV marked the end of the basic phase as we transitioned into the integrated phase, bringing all the ships in the Bataan Amphibious Ready Group together into one strike group through training and group evolutions.
Let's recap to one of our first underways as an amphibious ready group.
Right now we're out to sea with about 1,800 Navy and Marine Corps personnel, and we're conducting Surface Warfare Advanced Tactical Training Exercise, also known as SWAT. And SWAT is designed to allow the ships to improve their interoperability, become more lethal, more capable as they move into the advanced phase of training.
SWAT plays a key role in unleashing lethality of a warship and a group of warships. The people are what unleash that with maximum effect at the right time. That is what SWAT does. It helps the force take a step change and starting from one level of a bunch of individual units just sort of figuring themselves out into how to take all of that capability and execute it directly with maximum effect, maximum lethality if they ever got called to do so against an enemy.
The lessons we learned doing SWAT is really going to benefit this ARG as we move into ARG-MUX, as we move into Comp 2X and then eventually deployment. being able to do this in a non-threat environment from inspectors and certifiers is really great for the team to build that proficiency, and again, look at those reps and sets before we go into the more advanced phases of training. It's an honor and a pleasure to be out here leading, almost 1,800 Navy and Marine Corps personnel in this event. The Navy's invested a lot in SWAT, and we're out here taking full advantage of that investment. And again, at the end of this, we look to be a more interoperable force that's more lethal and more capable of carrying out the nation's business.
A force to be reckoned with. Let's take a break for commercials.
I'm H1 Mentor. This right here, this is a Moby. It's a very important tool when it comes to a man overboard. But at the same time, it's a big inconvenience to my sleep schedule when used improperly. Its functions are simple. All you gotta do is flip this switch. In the case that you do flip the switch, we're going to call the bridge and let them know. Hey, false alarm on Moby 0560.
False alarm on. False alarm!
Anyways, never flip that switch unless you're overboard or doing maintenance. In that case, call the bridge and let them know. Always remember, never flip the switch, never put them in water, never leave them outside in the rain. I'm H1 Mentor, and these are Moby Facts. Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Welcome back, Big Five, and now for a couple of notes. June 12th marks the 75th anniversary of the Women's Armed Services Integration Act, meaning it's been 75 years since they've been a permanent staple of the armed forces.
It's your last chance to do any pre-deployment chores. That includes power of attorneys or drafting up a will. The legal team on board can help you with that, but there's also the Regional Legal Service Office in Norfolk that can help you. Also, with deployment in mind, we're going to be away for a long time. So go ahead and set up auto pay for your bills, your rent, your mortgage, and go ahead and cancel or pause some services. Try and set some money aside. So we've covered the maintenance phase, moved into the basic phase, and we discussed SWAT, which was the start to our integrated phase.
After SWAT, we went underway in support of PMIT, Fibron Mu Integrated Training, from January 23 to February 12. This underway was focused on establishing a Navy-Marine Corps connection. This is a Marine on an LCU, or a bunch of Marines on this LCU.
After PMIT, the Bataan returned to port for a maintenance availability.
After about a month, Bataan was back out on high seas for another integration exercise.
Right now, we're in the Amphibious Readiness Group Marine Expeditionary Unit exercise. What it really entails is teaching the Marines, the 2-6 Mu, and Fibron 8 and the ships of the Bataan ARG, Bataan, Mesa Verde, and Carter Hall to learn to work together. And it's harder than you think. And the challenge is you bring these two distinct cultures together and get them to work together, and you do that through building trust. And you build trust by giving them opportunities to fight together during the integrated phase, during ARG-MUX, during COM-2X. And when you learn to fight together, you learn to trust each other.
We fully unloaded the Marines and brought all the ships and forces together, and Carrier Strike Group 4, who runs the exercise, built a comprehensive training package over the next 3 weeks that is what I would call high velocity learning, providing intense tactical scenarios often occurring simultaneously. So we may have situations where the Marines are projecting power ashore while we're engaged in air defense at sea or conducting anti-submarine warfare. But throughout it, we're doing training operations and missions, and in parallel with that, planning teams are planning the next set of training operations and missions, and it creates a very intense, high-end operational environment and prepares us for the high-end fight.
Our goal is to certify a naval force that maximizes its lethality and survivability in the midst of ambiguity, all the unknowns on deployment, while exercising mission command. And essentially mission command is understanding higher headquarters intentions and being able to execute them with alacrity and vigor.
During ARGMUX, we conducted numerous joint exercises, all in support of Navy-Marine integration.
So close to being a qualified deployable unit, but not just yet. The pinnacle of the integrated phase was still yet to come.
Let's cut for another commercial break.
All right, Big Five, so we have the maintenance phase, the basic phase, the integrated phase, we have the Marines on board for ARGMUX, and now the culmination of our workup cycle. Check it out.
The Bataan Amphibious Readiness Group and 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit are doing what's called COM2X. COM2X is the final event before we go on deployment that certifies us to conduct major combat operations at sea. When the Navy and Marine Corps come together, it's two different services with two distinctly different mission sets, have to work through and learn how to operate and integrate together. So doing these exercises helps us with that integration so that when we have to do these missions for real, we're not working out how we integrate, we're just like focused on the mission.
Four deployed ARGMUs serve as the nation's immediate response force. Time and time again, history has proven the value and utility of four deployed Marines aboard amphibious ships. And exercises like ARGMUX, COMP2X, and the upcoming Fleet Battle Problem exercise provide an opportunity to hone our skills in everything from foreign humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations, from maritime interdiction operations and DBSS, the list goes on, all showcasing the relevance, flexibility, and all domain operational capability the ARG and the MU provides to a Joint Task Force Commander, Theater Special Operations Commander, or Numbered Fleet Commander, both in terms of supporting theater campaign objectives, but also as the nation's premier crisis response force.
After the completion of COM2X on June 4, we were officially certified to deploy.
And finally, the last phase in this OFRP is the sustainment phase. It begins and continues throughout the post-deployment period, and it will end with the next maintenance phase.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Gator Rule and joining us in this long journey. I'm MC2 Brown.
And I'm ready to set sail. Anchors away.